For Crunchyroll, when we simulcast an episode, almost all of the views, this is within like a 3-month window, almost all of the views, 80% in fact, come within the first 30 days. People want fresh content, and people want to get it immediately. And if that content is not fresh anymore, they have other options. They can go watch something else that is fresh. So that freshness factor is huge. As you can see here, about 80% of the views for a simulcast episode happens within the first 30 days. So what does that look like in terms of making money over time? And this is what it looks like. When we simulcast a piece of content the same time as it comes out in Japan, what you have is the first 3 bars. That means when we launch and have viewers watch the same time as in Japan, we're making revenue immediately from advertisers as well as subscribers. And we can actually rev share that back with the licensors immediately. And afterwards, there's really no problem of shelf space. Over the lifetime of that show, it could be infinite. The show still makes money over time. There's really no cost to keep that show on the internet as there is on a physical store shelf. So as you can see here, this is actually beneficial for both sides. The licensors can make their money quicker so they can produce better quality animation. And we get our money quicker from the audience, and they get what they want. They get access to the content immediately. So everyone is thinking about this exact question. Physical dollars to digital dollars. There's a big analogy everyone says. Well, you're taking your physical dollars, you're taking your physical business, and you're turning it into digital pennies. You're taking something that's a lot more valuable and making it a lot less valuable. Well, the counterpoint I'd like to present for this is that we today are monetizing quite well for digital in our simulcast product. We make thousands of dollars per episode, which we rev share back to the licensor, and it's definitely a growing and sustainable business. And of course, the most important thing is that by not simulcasting, you are actually losing value on your content. If you don't have it out within the first 30 days, it's going to make nothing for you on the internet. So that's pretty much it. The value of the entertainment, the fact that small players can now coexist with big players and get the same amount of distribution, and the fact that the licensors can actually get money immediately and it can keep content on the shelves longer are 3 different things that the internet is changing in terms of the value that it brings. And so to conclude, I like to make a proverb, a shoyo proverb that I think is quite good. It's an old, I think it's an old Chinese proverb. When the winds of change blow, some people build shelters and other people build windmills. So I think we should all work together to build those windmills so we can harvest and profit from these winds of change. And that's it. Thank you. So any questions? Yes.
So in your example for the amount of dollars per hour for entertainment, you gave several examples, such as the movie ticket, DVD, the video game, World of Warcraft. But when you gave an example for the internet streaming, you said it was $7 per month for 27 hours. But that's the amount of available content. What's the actual usage there? Like how many hours do people actually watch per month?
So the question is, the example I gave was the amount of available content that there is. And the question is, what is the actual use case?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. It's actually heavily skewed. There are some people who really like a particular series, and there are some people who really dabble and watch everything. So I think the distribution is quite a bit more bimodal than a normal distribution. I wouldn't want to pin down an average, but I think it's something where people are investing at least a few hours per week to watch content.
Okay.
And I think just to expand on that example, there's really so many options out there today that 10 years ago, in the year 2000, this seems like a long time ago, but in the year 2000, the only thing you can really do was watch TV, go to a movie theater, and maybe go buy a DVD, right? Today, there's a lot more ways for people to entertain themselves, not even just the entertainment and media, but for example, Facebook, social networks. People can entertain themselves by watching their friends' content and not professional content. And those are the different options people have. And if we're not competitive as an industry against other options out there, then we're just going to become obsolete. Next question. Yes.
didn't see much in the slides about the cost of licensing the shows in the first place. Obviously, some of that's going to be proprietary and case-driven. But it seems that by leaving that out, you're factoring out some of the costs that the industry is bearing that the general consumer also needs to share.
I'm not sure I understand.
Where do the licensing costs fit into this business model?
So the question is, where does the licensing cost fit into this business model? The licensing cost is the normal as any other licensing cost. Either we pay a minimum guarantee up front or we revenue share that with the licensor. Now keep in mind that when we license our rights, we always go for non-exclusive streaming and subscription. What that means is that the licensor can have the option not just to work with us, but anyone else out there. And that's really the point about the internet. You don't want to put your content on just one channel. You want to put it everywhere and give users the option to choose where they want to watch their content from. Next question. Yes?
Regarding if a show is released in Japan, and then the same show comes over to America and gets licensed by an American company, how do you rev share between the two series that are now the same series, but they're both on Crunchyroll and one's sub and one's dub? How would you relate the models between those two competing cases, I suppose?
So the question is, if the show is in Japan and the show is also licensed in the US, then there's two potential licensors, the Japanese side and the US side, and how does Crunchyroll reconcile those two different parties? So, well, we are an American company and we do license anime, but I think the point is that Crunchyroll is really an entertainment platform. We have a lot of audience coming in and we want to power that platform with interesting content. And we work with everyone, not just the Japanese licensors, but also the US licensors. We have deals with pretty much all the major ones, except for one. We have deals with ADV, Media Blasters. We even work with Viz quite a lot. So I think there's really not that much in terms of reconciling. We just want to make our entire platform open so everyone can jump in and use that platform to be able to make revenue and also bring content to the fans and make them happy. Next question. Yes?
I don't know if it's an answer, but what do you guys spend on average for marketing though? Because I was reading something about it's simple because I've been studying all this digital distribution now, and just following along with this for a second. PlayStation Network. So Sony has this online digital distribution for the games. They're finding that the games that aren't spending marketing dollars aren't actually moving as much units. Can you speak to that? Like how much, like what you do in terms of not necessarily expenditures, but what you do to make sure that people know about how to find it, and what do you do spend?
So the question is, generally, what do we do on marketing to market online? Well, I can tell you marketing online is a fundamentally different concept than marketing in real life. Marketing in real life, you have a lot of different options. Do I want to do print? Do I want to stick in a magazine? Do I want to do flyers? Do I want to go to a convention? Well, online, if you apply that same technique, you pretty much end up with like two options. Do I want to send out an email to a bunch of people, or do I want to Twitter it? So online marketing, you have to think about it, is fundamentally different. And what we do is we try to make it very social. We make it so that fans really want to jump in and try things themselves. And another thing to keep in mind is that physical marketing, you're always thinking about what is the cost to acquire a single person. Digitally, that formula is very, very different. You want the cost to acquire a single person to be zero. Your upfront cost is actually very high. And if you try to reach 1,000 people versus 1,000,000 people, the cost is actually about the same, which is completely different from physical marketing, reaching one person versus 10 people versus 100 people scale